was on an AFRICAP carrier, and I walked around that ship, and literally every person I looked at, I wanted the ID. I wanted, how old are you? And they look like they were 17, 18, 19 years. I mean, but they look younger, and yet they are managing a $4.5 billion ship. And so you mean to tell me now that, especially in politics and government, that we don't think these same folks can be in positions that impact folks' everyday lives because they're doing it now.
Welcome to the Your Peak Life podcast. Let's conquer the summit of life and reach the apex of our potential.
All right, everybody, welcome to another episode of Your Peak Life. Julian Rivera, Mike, Edgar, Edwin, and we have a very special guest, but let me tee this up really quick, okay? So we can't call him by his first name. His name is actually Senator Aaron Rouse. Him and I go way back, like high school, like back in the day, but former Virginia Tech Hokie, former NFL player, current seat on the Senate, rocking and rolling for the state of Virginia and the Hampton Roads area. Mr. Rouse, thank you for being here today, sir.
Thanks for having me, Jay. Julian, I call you that.
Yeah, you can call me that. It's all good.
Thanks for having me, bro. I appreciate it.
Well, hold on. First question.
What's up?
Do you guys have nicknames?
I got a nickname, but I can't share it.
Yeah, he got a nickname. No, yeah. I mean, that's Jules. I've always been Jules, man. That's what it is.
Jules,
other than my DJ name.
Where'd that come from? That came from the music?
No, back then, I started DJing senior year at high school, but I didn't really start. That was a hobby. You know, that's when it was two turntables and a mic. That's when you had an MC.
Cool. Showing age.
You know, actually, I had my vinyls, which I still got, but just to be clear. But no, I didn't have the real DJ name until after that.
And be clear, I don't share my nickname because it's reserved for family. So like when I'm out at big events and they try to get my attention, I know that's my family. Like
somebody that actually knows.
I don't want someone thinking like I got this crazy nickname.
No.
Like,
Understand. That's my wife. I know her as Cookie and nothing else. So in the military and business, she goes by Rita. I can't call you that.
Yeah, that's right.
I've never called your wife that, bro.
No, because you've never heard that name come out of my mouth. So
not once.
Did you ever go to Julian's events when he was DJing back in the day? Did you see him young?
He DJed my wedding.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Mine too.
Yeah. No, I mean, Julian, he was always like, just a cool guy. I don't think he ever got in like a fight or anybody was ever upset. Like, he was always been a cool guy. You know what I mean? And so for me, I was like always in sports and working. So yeah, I mean, I've known him forever. And every time my nonprofit roused his house, whenever I'm like, hey, we're gonna have this event, can you show up? He's like, let me move some things around there. And he always shows up.
That's dope, because he's never moved stuff for me.
Well, speaking of the nonprofit, but go ahead.
No, I just had a random question. Like, usually when you're playing sports at a high level, there's always one person, right? That you're like, that's your like nemesis, or that's someone who you're like competing with as far as numbers, as far as status. Who was that? Because I know in your era, there's a lot of football players that came from this area.
Oh, for sure.
Right? So who was that player that you kind of had your eyes on to be like, to motivate you, or was there something?
Yeah, there was. I never needed or watched other players to be motivated. I was always like, I didn't like anybody on the football field, right? I wanted to just be like just a menace. And so, and then also I think my biggest thing was giving respect. Obviously the Bruce Smiths, the Allen Iversons, the Michael Vicks of the world are incredible athletes from this area. And for me, it was always about respect. Like, I wanted you to know my name too. So when I was playing at First Colonial, it was, oh, you're gonna know who I am when you left this field, because you're gonna feel me. So that was my mentality. In fact, I shared with our Hokies today. I had an opportunity to speak to Virginia Tech football team before they played ODU, and we won that game. But I didn't even want you touching me on the football field. Like, don't touch me. Like, straight like that. All linemen, offense, I don't want you touching me.
I see the change, the way you told me that.
Like
the change from senator out there, where we were just talking.
You went from senator to menace.
Wow.
I mean, but that's our era of football you could play.
Yeah.
In today's game, I would have to play receiver. I couldn't play defense because I was too aggressive, too physical.
Yeah.
I would get a targeting call every game and had to sit.
Literally.
Yeah, I couldn't play this year.
I mean, the thing is, too, I'm just calling a name out, Travis Hunter. You were him in high school. You were playing both sides of the ball.
Yeah.
You
I
were
never
in the
came
whole
off.
game.
Yeah.
You know, only if you needed like a Gatorade for one play. But
Yeah.
there was 1,000 plays in the game. You were in there 999 plays.
I never came off the field.
No.
And even in basketball, I played
Yeah.
every single position from point guard to 5. I guarded everybody on the court. Never came off the field. And shout out to Travis Hunter. He's a special player with incredible motor as well. And it's just something like I never got tired. You know, you just never. I just always going that drive to get that tackle, to get the interception. You know, to defend that player. It's just an innate ability that certain people have and don't. Like when other players get tired, it's be like you tired? Like what have you done to be tired? You know what I mean? Like you run on kickoff one time and you tired? Like I don't know what that. I didn't know what that was at the time, but I can tell you now, as a 40-year-old man, I get tired very quickly.
Yeah, and I was gonna touch on that. As 40-year-old man, you're about to have a baby this December.
Yes.
Shout out to your wife,
Thank
who
you.
is
December.
Jennifer.
Shout out to December.
also
right.
in government,
Yes,
right?
yes,
How is she
yes.
doing?
She's right now, you know, she's ready for it to be over with. You know, obviously carrying another life is like it's so much work.
Oh yeah.
But you know, she's an incredible woman. She's getting her PhD right now. She serves on city council. She's a professor at TCC.
Wow.
So I just try to make sure I rub her feet, rub her back, you know, provide her all type of meal, anything she needs. I'm trying to make sure she's there. But she's incredible because she didn't start out wanting to be, you know, in politics or even serving government. I think from the years of watching me on city council and seeing how much change and inspiration we were providing for our community, she stepped up to the plate and was like, I want to do this because we made so much progress in this city that she felt like, hey, we would lose it if we don't have someone else continuing that. And she stepped up to the plate and won her district. She won her district by a large margin. And here's the thing: what people don't know, like her opponent raised $160,000. We only raised like $19,000, $20,000.
Wow.
And that to me is a testament to, you know, us being a part in our communities.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And not just around during election time.
No,
I mean,
that's amazing.
That's a testament to what you guys have done. I mean, just leading up to you even jumping into, let's just say, your peak life in the political realm, you were already giving back.
Yeah.
In that intermittent time outside of football before you got in there, there was a lot of pivotal choices that you had to make this choice.
Yeah.
You know, what was, if you can narrow it down to one, what was one of the peak choices or just light bulb moments that, you know what, I'm in this time, I made it, I did those goals, what's my next goal and how I'm going to achieve that?
That's a great question, Jay. I think for me, it was, you know, I'm a sociologist and I got my degree from Virginia Tech in sociology, and I needed to understand why or how I was like very few of people that looked like me with my background that made it to college, right? That made it to a great 4-year school and even gone out to the NFL. And then, so going to Richmond, because I got invited to go to Richmond, my godfather, James Church, invited me because he was in the auto industry and they were lobbying, you know, for the industry. And I was like, man, I don't want to go to Richmond, you know? And I took him up on the opportunity to go, and I went and the light bulb went off. And so it's like, when you know better, you do better. You know, when I knew, okay, it is important that we have people in these positions that allocate resources, whether it's for education, housing, transportation, criminal justice reform. Like, I knew better now, and I thought, I can't just turn this off or not, like, pay attention to it.
Right.
Like, I want to serve. My biggest thing is I don't want any kid or this next generation to go or have a life that I've had in terms of having always to overcome some adversity. You know, I always want to make sure I help provide like people better their lives by being in a position that is more impactful.
Right. But now you're in this position,
good.
and you've made these levels that now you're running for lieutenant governor in 2025.
Yeah.
That's huge, you
Yeah.
know. And I asked you earlier, what's the end goal, but you mentioned a Rubik's Cube. It just, it can be this, it can always change.
Yeah.
And that was a good analogy here. But now, once you win that seat, speak it to existence, right?
Got to win it first.
You're representing the state in this scenario now. You're not just more from a local level. Now, mind you, you're still hyper local. Don't get me wrong. You still live here, all of that stuff. But what do you see your vision as Aaron Rouse taking on the state of Virginia now, not just the Hampton Roads market?
Yeah, you know what? I think as a senator, especially in Virginia, we only have 40 senators, and so while I, compared to 100 House members in the House, in the General Assembly. For me, though, it's always been about service. Even now as I, run for lieutenant governor, I want to inspire this generation, this next generation to get involved. I want to continuously provide opportunity for someone else to come up and be able to be senator. I mean, when we were in school together at First Colonial, and especially our background, like I would have never thought or dreamed that I would be city council, state senator, and now running for lieutenant governor. And that's the beauty of this country. But I think also there's beauty lies in planting seeds in young folks and thinking, you know what? His dad was in jail. He coming from Friendship Village in Youngs Park in Norfolk, grew up poor. He had to work, ride his bike to and forth from the school, had a son in college, first generational college student as well, watched school buses in Virginia Beach. He did all that, became lieutenant governor. Surely I can too get involved and make a difference. And that's my thing. Notice I didn't even mention the NFL. I mean, that was a great experience. But I want to have make it really real for folks, especially young folks, to understand you can be whatever you want to be, right? And I want to help do that. I don't want them to have to, worry about the next meal or being accepted for who they are or, having a chance to go to college or get a skill. Let me, while I'm in government, let me help provide you those opportunities so you can try it out.
Right.
You may not, you try something out you may not like, that's not for me, but go do something else. But I don't want anybody to be having to feel like they're not good enough. Every kid, everybody's good enough. And here's the thing, I talk about the next generation so much, but I value those who've come before, who's laid the groundwork. Like a congressman, Bobby Scott, a Senator Luis Lucas, a Senator Locke, even minority Senator Tommy Norman, who's a Republican. I value folks' contribution to our society to help move us forward.
You talk about the next generation. It was probably 2-3 years ago. I want to say just during COVID. Mind you, this is the guy that would literally ride his dope mountain bike around the entire city of Virginia Beach. I'm not talking about around town center. No, the entire perimeter of Virginia Beach. And then I get a text randomly. He's like, "Hey, your son almost ran me over."
I remember it was Laskin Road.
I'm like, and I texted him right away. He was like, "No, I'm just joking. I just saw him drive." But I literally texted him "Julian, what the heck are you doing? Watch where you're driving, bro."
Yeah.
But when he said he's out there, I mean, he's out there doing this, riding around.
I love being in our community. I was at I was getting my son tires fixed at this tire shop the other day, and I was in some sweatpants and some regular shoes and shirt. And the owner come out, he's like, "Man, that's why I like you so much. You're a senator. You're just out here in sweatpants." And I'm like, it's just me. I'm I serve in this position, but it doesn't define me who I am. I mean, it's a privilege to serve, but I'm still here. I still go out Friendship Village, shoot around on the basketball court. I'm still, in Norfolk, I show up I'm here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I continue. My thing is to always be closer to the people because it helps keeps my barometer straight, number one. And it also helps keep me informed, especially in this world of so much information. I'm actually in the streets, I know what's going on. And it's a sense of respect, especially for guys, who don't live that, above board type of lifestyle, but they still have great respect because they see what we're trying to do for the community in terms of providing opportunity for it.
I mean, these three guys, I've had a lot of respect for them for a while, but one thing that you just said that relates to me, we can all have an ownership in some way, but we're all still in production.
Yeah.
What does that really mean? We all still keep our finger on the pulse so we know what's happening.
Yeah.
Where there's some people that they just don't do that anymore. So how can you relate to the next person that you're either one trying to represent or help when you're just not in it anymore. You know what I mean? That's really what I'm getting. And on top of that, these three are vets, you know, in many different capacities. You're retired senior chief, correct?
23 years.
23 years.
Thank you.
He was in it for 2 days, and then you did it. No, I'm messing with you. No, I just mess with him. This is like my
we
big
have
brother.
back and forth
Yeah.
all day long. Just right off his forehead.
It's all good. He went back.
served 8 years.
He just got back from Vegas, but he brought the sphere with him. You saw that new thing? It's awesome. U2's performing in there.
Yeah.
I did 14. I was a chief.
Oh, thank you. And that's the other thing too. Again, like people always ask me, say, "Are you in the military?" I was like, "No, I'm not." But my grandfather raised me, and so my grandfather served in the Army, and so at a time where he was illiterate and couldn't, and he still served in the Army as well, and he served from 42 to 45, 42 to 45, 44 to 45. Long story short, he gave me like 3 important values. He was like, keep God first, work for everything that you want, and your word is your bond. And that is like how I live my life. So when I look at our military men and women, like the sacrifices y'all have made, and again, from even understanding history, right? What does your oath to this Constitution mean, right? What is your oath for freedom, and what does it mean to put your life on the line so that Americans can enjoy Uber Eats and take out food and things?
Absolutely,
it's that type of service that should be rewarded. It should be acknowledged. But here's the thing: our veterans, and you all know, they don't serve to be rewarded. They serve as a sense of duty and a sense of pride to their country. You know what I mean? But for a civilian, someone who that should be rewarded. I mean, what, less than 1% of people in America serve?
That's correct.
So like, what are we talking about?
It's crazy. It's crazy that you knew that stat.
Yeah,
but it's true. I just said it the other day in a speech. I said I was the 10% of the 1%, which made me the 0.01% ever to grace Earth.
Yeah. I mean,
and people were like,
as someone who's
"That's crazy, right?"
Yeah,
It's a crazy stat.
It's real.
Yeah.
We lived it, like.
Well, it's crazy when people visit us, like from our corporate partners, when they come down and we
They're
forget
amazed,
they've never seen a jet or an aircraft. We're like, that's just every day for us.
Yeah. So I am a huge military aviation enthusiast.
Really?
Like listen, I love jets.
Me too.
I love planes. Growing up right next to NAS Oceana, remember the F-14s come through. Remember the intruders, the A6s come through. I like the Phantoms. I love the F-18s. Okay,
you like the 14 though. You like
love
the Tomcat.
I love the 14. The maintenance on the things are like crazy.
A bear, yeah.
Like crazy.
I was in aviation maintenance.
Is that right?
That's what I did. Yeah.
Dealing with those two, it was like, what were they, Thurman engines? What kind of engines was in
Thurman,
those?
I think it was. Yeah.
Dealing with, man, listen. But my favorite plane though, and it's on my car, is the SR-71 Blackbird. Whew. Like that's my thing right there. Like if I could just, and I always say this, no one has let me. And I reached out to the Blue Angels all the time, and I'm their biggest supporter. I never miss an air show. I haven't gotten inside of a jet yet, and I keep saying I want to go. Let me in there. Let me in there.
What if we can make that happen?
We
for
got
you?
you.
Listen,
Like that ain't
I
nothing.
want it.
I feel like we can make that happen.
And let me. And I can fly. Well,
We've identified Senator Rouse's peak life.
That's right. That's my big life.
That's awesome, man.
So let me. And people don't know.
I love it.
I was on the simulator. At NAS Oceana, they have the simulator, right? Where you can practice landing on an aircraft carrier in the real life simulator, F-15 simulator. That's what it grew. It's the only one that did it on the first try, called the third wire.
Nice.
Oh, damn.
Nice.
I'm nice with it.
That's next.
They had it on autopilot.
I'm telling you.
Sincerely,
He's a setter.
I
Hook him
lived
up.
half my life on aircraft carriers.
Is that right?
And that's like a factual statement. I served aboard 4 aircraft carriers. So
Wow.
that is my life. I did aviation maintenance production,
Yeah.
aviation maintenance, quality assurance, safety,
Yeah.
collateral duty inspections. That's what I did. That's what Eric did. Except
Yeah.
the other side, he did it with the squadrons from Oceana. So,
Okay.
Yeah, so me and
so
Eric
that's what we
were-
did. Yeah.
maintenance
Oh, yeah,
on the
you're aviation
aviation
too.
side. So I
Yeah.
was F-18s. I actually transitioned all the F-14 guys
Oh, did
to
you really?
F-18s, F-35s.
Wow.
On the weapons side, Eric was electrician.
Yep.
On the electricians, he would train all those electricians. This is F-14, this is F-18s.
Yeah.
He did IT. We really don't know what it is.
Yeah. I was just
Secret squirrel.
Secret squirrel.
gotta
Listen,
be
that's
smart to get
that's
them out.
incredible. I did an underway on the.
That was good.
yeah. You gotta have a certain ASVAB to qualify for pilot. Not everybody does.
I love it.
Same pay grade.
That's,
Same pay. Same pay.
that's hilarious.
He got AC though. That's the thing. That's the
IT.
I did a
AC,
underway
air
on the.
conditioning.
Oh yeah, no, 100%.
Yeah.
I don't sweat. I don't like to sweat.
yeah, you
unless
were
it's
inside all day. So.
pickleball.
Yeah.
Do you pickleball?
Nah.
See, I was gonna say because I was gonna take you out there.
No, I don't.
And see one of them NFL skills look like out of pickleball.
To be
court.
fair, he's an athlete. I don't know. He might pick that up really quick.
Yeah.
Certified.
No, but I was saying I did an underway on the USS John C. Stennis.
Okay.
And it was one of the most inspirational things like I've seen because
That's
number
incredible.
one, you know, I walk around. First of all, I thought I was really good at navigation. Like I usually have my bearings and know where I'm at.
Ha.
Lost on the AFRICAP carrier.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Up is out, down is in. Like I don't even know. Like you know, I don't know how y'all do it.
I'm nice with it.
But you have to be
Super.
nice with it. But one of the most important things, and this is why it has actually helped me in terms of providing opportunities to young folks. I was on an AFRICAP carrier, and I walked around that ship, and literally every person I looked at, I wanted the ID. I wanted, how old are you? And they look like they were 17, 18, 19 years. I mean, but they
Because
look
they were.
younger, and yet they are managing a $4.5 billion ship.
Yep.
And so you mean to tell me now that, especially in politics and government, that we don't think these same folks can be in positions that impact folks' everyday lives because they're doing it now.
Yeah.
That's a great perspective.
Yeah.
But you're right, it's-
I have an opinion on that. I'm not going to speak to it, and I'll probably never run for an office. But at some point, I feel like all Americans should serve. And you
Yes.
actually said it out there.
Yeah.
To some capacity, you serve at a different capacity. But like, I know that I learned a lot of things doing that.
Yeah.
A lot of that has to do with why we're successful here. Has to do with why we can sit down and have an articulate conversation with the senator.
Mm-hmm.
Why we can procure partners like Julian. I'm not from here.
Yeah.
Built this from the ground up, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of what you're talking about resonates with me. I'm sure some of the people in the room are like, we sound a lot alike,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just been a cool experience. So thanks for coming in.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me. Thanks for having me.
Incredible.
I was
love
for
it.
sure you was gonna go into the Chevelle.
Oh yeah.
got
No,
a
I mean,
Chevelle?
really, man. I come
Good
from
call.
struggle. I'm from Ohio. I grew up in foster care.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Didn't grow up with my parents. But I recently bought my dream car. Probably about.
Did you really?
This is 2 years ago now. Probably. I got a '70 SS Chevelle.
Oh, nice.
I used to build hot rods.
Is that right?
Yep.
What L size engine you got in there?
It's a 396.
Dang. Got 396 in there?
The original.
The original. Oh, it's original in there.
Yes, sir.
It's pretty fresh.
You found that?
It took me like 3 years.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
And I had to have it shipped from Massachusetts, but
Wow.
it was just one of those things. Like, it'd been on my vision board since I was like 13.
Yeah.
So
That's awesome, man. Yeah. I think I used to be able to get from, because I had my son in college. And so I used to drive home every other week from Blacksburg, which is 5 hours away from here.
used to
In
go
my grandfather's old Chevrolet Caprice.
oh,
And
nice.
so it was a box Chevy 89
Oh, yeah.
Caprice. So I had to learn how to, keep that car up.
Right.
I mean, that's what people always say, why I'm a Chevy guy. Because that car, it never let me down. That Chevy got me everywhere I needed to go. So there's no knock on Ford, fix or repair daily. There's no knock on them. But,
I just got a 73
can't.
convertible.
He's like me. This is
I just got a
insane.
73 convertible.
Did you really?
Shipped in. It's a rust
It's here?
bucket. It's in the garage. It still has to go. But
man, listen.
Are you
But I
going to
had
do the
another
work,
one.
or are you going to send it off?
I send it off.
You send it off.
I
Listen,
could work on them, but we just don't have time.
So I got a funny story for y'all really quick. Is that, my brother is a regional director of maintenance, whatever.
Avery, right?
Yep. my
Shout out
brother
to Avery.
He's a great guy. By the way, he was in college with me. I had to take care of my younger brother. He had a great college experience. That's a whole nother story. He wasn't enrolled, but he had
He's
a great
the next
college
guest. So he's coming back with
And so
Senator Rouse.
he found this 2001 C5 Corvette and it's
yeah.
been sitting for like years, right? And he's like, you should come and see if you want this car because this old lady, she doesn't want it. She want to get rid of it. And so I come get it. So fast forward, convertible top. It's a convertible. Went to everybody in the Hampton Roads to try to put this convertible top on. They wanted to charge me astronomical price. And I was like, forget it. Like, I'm going to do it myself, right? I'm going to be YouTube Jedi Master, right?
Yeah. The YouTube Academy.
This is why I would need you at Ed. The only video, mind you, YouTube is what? Billions of videos? Millions of videos?
Yes.
The only video on YouTube for a C5 convertible top, putting it on, was in Spanish.
That's when you should hit me up.
It took me a month.
Listen,
It took me a month.
diversify your circle. You know what I'm saying?
Listen, though, it's 2 o'clock in the morning.
This before Google Translate, right?
Listen, yeah, before that, Jennifer's laying, she's laying there, she's like waking up. What are you doing? I'm on the iPad, like, wait a minute, I think I got it. I almost got it. You want to use the glue, he's saying. Okay, it took me a month to process
That's
everything
funny.
he was saying, and then I put the convertible top on myself.
Still got it?
I still got it. It's
Still
outside.
rocking?
It's nice. I
So
did.
we got a segue then to the next time we're going to meet up because we now sponsor the biggest car show in Hampton
that right?
Roads.
Yeah.
That's true.
And it's ran by a Corvette Club. Street,
that right?
Street Dreams. One of our agents' dad runs it.
Yeah.
So
That's
maybe
awesome.
next year we get you to bring her out.
Man.
Yeah.
And they've done this before. My first experience was this year, just going to it. I was like, I need to bring the whole fam.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I knew it was gonna be dope, but I was like, the kids would have loved to see this.
Yeah.
Nah, it's a very well put together event.
Yeah.
And there's just beautiful cars out
Yeah.
there.
Where do y'all
It
where do
was
you
at
have it at?
Uno's Military Highway.
Military
Okay, yeah, I know
Highway.
exactly where that's
Just
at.
that big
Old
parking
Janet.
lot.
Yeah,
Old
Old
Janet.
Janet. Yeah, I know exactly what it at. See, most people don't remember the movie theater used to be up in there.
See, I've been here
remember
since,
that.
I know I probably don't look it, but I've been here since 05. So
Okay.
it's this is home really at this
Yeah.
point. But I came here for the Navy based out of Columbus,
What's
Ohio.
up? I need to ask you something.
And I was 17, like you said,
You from Ohio? You root for the Buckeyes? Is that your team?
100%.
But you've been here for a minute.
That's fine. You know, I respect y'all, but I can't turn my back on
So, all right, but
Ohio State University.
but would you agree? And I'm curious to know that LeBron James is the GOAT, or would you think otherwise?
This is a conversation that always happens.
Man,
It's
so
happened a couple times.
So we have this conversation. I'm gonna say, I'm gonna tell you, I don't even think it's a fair comparison because he's still actively producing.
So who's
that's
the GOAT
been
for you?
Edwin's stance. I'll
That's my
second that.
stance.
He's
So
been
who's the
saying
GOAT
that.
for you?
Right now, I would say Jordan. But here's the thing. We can't even have that conversation. If you're gonna ask me after LeBron retires, it's gonna be LeBron. In my opinion.
Well, okay.
and I could give you so many different reasons. No one ever came into the league at 18-year-olds and had the pressure that he had to deal with. No one else has put their son in a position to win on the Lakers right now. And that top
That's
Zero
just a
issue.
different. That's a different thing.
conversation
That's done
yeah,
right
for
there.
me.
Yeah.
Because I'm a dad, I'm a father. Y'all know my daughter's in real estate. Like, he executed his career better than anyone else.
All-time leading scorer. But yeah,
Yes.
okay.
So I'm from Ohio. Basketball is actually my favorite sport.
Is it really? Okay.
I was going to high school in Ohio when LeBron was going to high school
Is
in
that right?
Ohio. So we would just go watch him play because we all just kind of knew that we weren't him, right? Like he was the top of the top and he's Mr. Ohio basketball, and that was just what it was. But to answer your question, no, he's not my GOAT.
Who's your GOAT?
It's Michael Jordan, hands down, all day, every day, till I die. So
Noted.
my reasoning is that Michael Jordan never jumped ship.
Oh my goodness.
It's just one.
I'm listening.
Michael Jordan had to defeat the Lakers, the Celtics, and the Pistons, which were the three best franchises to ever exist.
Stop it.
Am I wrong?
Stop.
I'm
the-
just saying.
You know the
So-
Michael Jordan was not until Phil Jackson got there and put a team
I
around him.
won't disagree with that, but he still went through that
But
9
LeBron didn't
years.
win either until he got with who?
To who?
I mean, he wasn't really winning. He would make it up there.
Le-
Same
Le-
thing. I would say
Well-
like trajectory, like
LeBron
like Jordan.
won a championship in Cleveland.
Yes, which is legendary.
And
Like
Cleveland.
I
How
can't
long did it
deny
take
that.
him to get there?
I will.
And
It's a long time.
no. The question should be, how long would it take Cleveland to win another one?
They might never.
Oh yeah,
Exactly.
They're like
But-
the Rams, right?
Exactly.
My biggest thing is
Rams are
this.
gonna
I look at what we used to call in the Navy as sustained superior performance. Although LeBron was always the best player, he wasn't always the best leader. Michael Jordan is hands down a better leader and a better teammate.
I think
and
Scottie
somebody that
Pippen would disagree with you.
I'm a
I
Laker
mean,
fan.
if I was Scotty, I'd be mad too because I was always in his shadow. You know what I
Bruh,
mean?
when Jordan left, the Bulls were still winning because of Scottie Pippen.
But they didn't win it.
They
Jordan-
didn't.
But listen,
But they
though,
didn't win a chip.
because he
You know
did
what
the
I'm saying?
extra,
Like-
but vice versa, they wouldn't have won without Scottie Pippen.
But I'm
I
a Laker
agree.
fan,
Or
and
Dennis
I agree.
Rodman. Or
That's-
listen, I know. Yes, I
That's
agree.
the reason I didn't like when LeBron showed up to the Lakers because I feel he's not a good leader.
But who's your GOAT?
Same thing as Jordan.
Okay,
I put him over
Edgar.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming you a LeBron.
Absolutely.
Listen, I have great respect and admiration for Jordan. Like, I think Jordan, I mean, hands down, is incredible. I mean, you know what I mean? Or especially what he did.
Hold
in
on,
his
hold on.
era.
Before you say what you're
Sure.
about to say, when we started this interview, you were like, I don't want nobody touching me. I don't want nobody looking at me.
Yeah.
That's how I feel about Jordan, a Kobe. I don't feel the
Versus-
same way a
versus a
LeBron.
LeBron.
Sure.
That's
Yeah,
who I want
yeah.
leading the
But
team.
but this is the thing. Jordan and Kobe, Mamba mentality, Jordan killer instinct,
Yes.
incredible. LeBron just played the game in a way that was more encompassing, right? It's Jordan's gonna take the shot, and Kobe is gonna take the shot. It could be a wide open.
I will agree with that wholeheartedly, and I think that's why I choose who I choose.
Yeah,
My word
which is fine.
My word is tenacity, ferocious. Like
But
if
I
I'm
just-
going into
Kid that
war,
killer.
if I'm going to war, I want Michael Jordan
Listen,
because I watched LeBron go to war many, many days as a young boy in Ohio and a Cleveland fan.
he made the right decisions.
Yes, but also there were times that he got saved by somebody like a Kyrie Irving who snapped for 45 back to back. Like
Like Jordan didn't get saved by Pippen.
I never seen Scottie Pippen score 45, 55 points, man. And I watched
Listen,
every single playoff game they ever
All right,
played.
homework assignment. I'm gonna
Now-
I'm gonna get some data and come back for you.
But
Because I don't know enough.
I
about
can
it.
enjoy and appreciate a Dennis Rodman and the rest of the squad that was with him, but nobody ever played like Michael Jordan, man.
Okay.
Like you got to look at his cultural icon like impact. I was just at the
Agreed.
University of Michigan's training facility, and they're the only school in the country that's sponsored by Jordan on the football field. And you walk into this room, and it's just there's an Air Jordan symbol there. That's
A UNC sponsored by Indy.
now, but like he was like.
Listen, I'm not taking. You can't. In speaking the support of LeBron doesn't mean I take any way away from
No,
Jordan.
well, that's the thing.
Oh,
I love
no.
LeBron too. So it's
yeah,
like,
no, we all agree.
it's-
He's
yeah,
like
I'm
athletically,
Jay.
everything.
You know
he
what?
We're
is.
gonna watch Come Fly With Me.
So
right,
I-
like, come on, like, Come Fly With Me was a video I watched before going to Ducket Court.
So
like,
he-
you know what I mean? Like, of course. But I just look at LeBron. To me, man, I don't remember a season that he wasn't the guy since he came into the league.
He's still averaging
still the
over
guy.
20, 26, 27 points
So
a game
when
at 40.
he won. So he won in LA the year Kobe died, and I was like, "That's legendary shit." If he wins one with his son on the roster,
I was just about to say this.
I will have to, hey,
that's
like
it,
you know,
that's
If he
like,
wins
Why
this
did the
year with his
goalposts
son.
always move for LeBron? Like it always moves. He has
moves
to
it.
win with his son, and then when his son's son be able to get paid, he got to be a granddad, and he got to win with him too.
Hold on, I got a
moves
question
it.
with you. This is totally off topic where we're at because I wanted to ask you this
Yeah,
earlier
yeah.
while you're out there. Did you ever talk to your dad, or what's that scenario?
Yeah, you know what? That is a great question too. So
Because my dad was in prison also.
yeah, I mean,
And
the
mine.
last I seen my dad, I think I was in junior high school, and he was always in the streets, and my mom let him stay with us night, and I don't know where he was, but he was there one night and he stayed. And I didn't want to go to school the next day because I didn't know when I was going to see him again, and then but he was like, I'll be here when you get back, and so I get home from school, rush home, and he's gone, and then the next thing we get, my mom is, we see in the paper and news that he went to jail, he was in prison, and he had 63 years in jail.
Okay.
And so for me, it was hard because, I'm going through all these, life things, son, family, college, all these things, and working, and then he would write letters, and then it got to a point where I was like sending my dad money through JPay, and making sure he could eat, and make sure he had clothes and shoes and the video media in jail. So I knew about all the prison, like
Put money on the books.
all the time. I knew about all those things. But ironic, it's crazy because, and this is a whole, like, I could spend like a whole another segment on this, but so my dad just made parole 2 years ago.
Okay.
2 years ago, after 24 years, serving 24 years in jail. And here I am, my sisters and I, we're all like excited. You know what I mean? We're still like, we're excited to see our dad. And he got out and seen him for a couple days and was like, I'm gone. Like I'm doing my thing. Like it wasn't like this focus to learn our kids. Like we're grown, we got kids now. You know what I mean? Like, and we have families ourselves. And here we are, basically supported your whole time you was in prison. And now you get out and you're like,
that sucks.
You know what I mean?
Does that put closure in that relationship there?
That's I don't think you actually get closure. I think you get hardened in terms of like, okay, he has every right to go live his life. Mm-hmm. You would think he would want to get to know his kids that he don't know, right? But I think it is also maturity. Hurtful, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes, very hurtful. No closure, because even now you're like, damn, I wish I could share this with my dad. I wish my dad was
the
around.
grandkids.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly. So, and protecting them from it, because when he got out, all the family was society. Like they got to meet my son, everybody, all our nieces and nephews. They got to meet him. It was like, this is our dad, and that was cool. And that lasted maybe a week, and then after that, it was.
Yeah, because we've had those conversations. Whereas like mom's working all day, you have those daddy Sundays at schools or whatever activities happen. You don't want to go with your uncle. Like that ain't my dad.
Right.
That does. I think a sense of embarrassment, or I can't think of the words when those days would happen at school.
Right.
It
Well,
affects you as a child.
Yeah, it's off. If to put it in, I guess, simplistic terms, in terms like you know your dad, you have a dad.
Right.
This is your uncle, and even though everyone else might not understand that dynamic, internally you feel that, as someone like you feel that, hey, why am my dad is not here, and I think that a large part of me, football was a great outlet for me. I'm telling you, like that was
your therapy.
It was therapy, allowed me to be physical,
Without getting in trouble.
Oh, absolutely. And I've always, again, people don't understand when my experience has been, before my grandmother died, like I was a kid. Right? I just knew KB Toy Store, I knew Toys R Us.
Oh yeah.
Buy me Christmas, grandma, Thanksgiving, that was good. I knew that. After my grandmother died, and this is why I appreciate my grandfather more and more every single day, because when I try to understand his perspective of born in like 1918 and coming from sharecropping, like sooner you're able to walk, you're working in the field.
Right.
Like you out there in North Carolina, like you're working. And this is 1918 when he was born. So this is like back in the day where, black men, you can get lynched for just looking at a white person wrong, And so when he's like, you're the man of the house, he really meant that. Yeah. I'm like, as a kid, like, what? No, get out here, cut this grass, learn to cut this grass.
Yep.
And so I grew up, my childhood was 10 years long. I grew up very, very, like, early, young. And this is what I tell college folks. I didn't mature. I had a sense of maturity from terms of working, but there's another sense of maturity from communicating, understanding where you are, how to express your feelings and things of that nature. That's growth. Like, you have to grow from that. But I was always the voice of reasoning, like, in our group, even in college, talking to my friends, like, no, I don't do that. I was always like the old man in the group going, you shouldn't do that. No, don't make that decision. Because I was already making those decisions at, 10, 11 years old.
Yeah.
And so that was my process. And even now, from an athletic standpoint, kids don't, like these student athletes and athletes don't know how to speak up for themselves in terms of, I should be the starter. I want to be a starter. I'm going to go home and complain to my mom and dad, and now let my mom and dad come talk to the coach, and my son should be. It's like, I don't know what that means. You know, you know what I mean? Like, I'm in college, and I wanted to play safety, and my position coach at the time was like, "No, you staying like right where you are, staying at linebacker," and I'm like, "No," and I didn't have my mom or my dad to be like, my son should be playing linebacker or safety, move him to safety. So I had to go to Coach Beamer with myself as a man and sit him down. And I always say sit him down. That sounds so, sit Coach Beamer down. But you ask him for his time.
Right.
I go to Coach Beamer and I go, listen, I know I can play safety. This is why I can play safety. I want an opportunity. And Frank gave me that opportunity, But it's like you have to be able to speak up for yourself. And that is like what I try to instill in our son, our kids, is we are here, but you got to experience life too. You have to be able to get out there because we're not going to be here all the time. They say our duty and job as parents is to prepare our kids for when we're like, for the life, like we're not there. Like that's why I never like participation trophies and things like that. It's like
100% agree.
Like either you win or you lose, but you're going to learn something. Right, it feels good to win. Everybody worked together, and you won. But also lose. There's no reward. That means you need to go and work harder. Learn how to work harder to be successful. Like you work harder, usually equals success, but a lot of times it don't. But still, then you still are a better person than what you were before you started. And I think that to me is like quality of like life skills. You know what I mean?
Hearing you speak just automatically puts me into how I feel about my daughter. So my daughter started real estate. She's doing she's doing phenomenal. Yeah. We take our top 25 people on a trip, top 25 realtors. We pay for a trip. My daughter's like 27, 28, around there. And everybody's like, oh man, she did a good job. Why don't you pay for a trip? I'm like, hell nah. She ain't making the trip. Like, she's 26 or 27. That don't matter. She ain't 25.
Right.
And it's just, like when people are like, yeah, but that's, no. Yeah. Like,
you have to have a standard.
Yeah,
you have to have a
set
boundary.
that expectation that doing your best is going to get the job done, because reality, doing your best may not get the job done.
Right.
And not only that, you, as a figurehead of this company, 340 people, you do that for your daughter, how many people are going to turn around and ask for it?
Yeah.
Why is that happening? Why is this? Why is that? Like, no.
Nah.
And you don't want to have to think like that, but that's the truth. When you're leading hundreds of people, a lot of times it's just simply optics. But obviously
leadership
we know
is
you and
hard.
Taina are super close, and she ain't going to have no hard feelings either way. She's like, you're right, I'll be there next year, Pops. Like, because you instilled that in her growing up. Like, that is the standard. She doesn't. Right. She won't even accept the participation trophy if you tried to give it to her.
If I said, "Hey, come on the trip with me," nah, I ain't make it.
Facts.
Nah, I'm gonna be on the list.
Yep.
And that's just kind of my mindset as well. Participation trophies are a thing of the next generation. It wasn't mine.
Right.
Yeah.
I got a question for you, though, Senator. Leadership wise, because I heard a lot of you just kind of being a natural leader. Well, some people might call it natural. They say that to me too, but I don't think that's true. I think it's a product of our position as children. So it sounds a lot like you had responsibilities between the ages of like 10 and 13 that are very similar to some that I had. And I actually tell people that my leadership skills developed there.
Sure.
In that moment. When my dad was in prison and I had siblings and there was no man of the house and you had to become the man of the house, like it starts there. It didn't start in the Navy. Right. I was working 40, 50, 60 hours a week at McDonald's or Burger King or boosting cars and stereo systems. Like whatever we were doing to pay bills and get something to eat. Like I didn't know no better. I didn't know nothing else. That's all I ever saw was criminal activity and grew up in that kind of thing. And this has been really good, man. I'm glad you came here.
Yeah, thank you for having me, man.
I appreciate you getting him here, Julian.
Man, it ain't nothing but a thing because he's already in the community. He's already involved. He practices what he preaches, but he's been doing that since day one, before I even knew him. So it's more of a, now it's scheduled. We all live in this room. We all live and die by our calendar, right? So we can forecast ahead of time. he and Jennifer will always make anything work, but
Yeah.
she gets a pass because she's holding your baby right now.
Right.
Okay.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
No.
But Vince Lombardi said, leaders are made and not born. And I think we all have different leadership styles. You know, there's some leaders who like, out, you do this. Some leaders just lead by example. You know what I mean? And then you have some leaders who are just like, you know, very, very quiet. And they always like, they're very observant. And then they pull you and they give you some direction. And, you know, so the leadership styles is different. But my thing has always been like, especially, you could probably relate to this, and especially in terms of politics, is to be an effective leader. Like, you got to accept like responsibility, like accountability. Like, if you're not getting the job done, like, that's on you. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's on like terms of me. Like, I can't say, because my upbringing be like, for example, if I didn't make enough money cutting grass to, you know, get my hair cut, I can't blame somebody else. Like,
Absolutely.
that's on me. Like, I didn't get out there enough and make enough money. Like,
Facts.
that's on me. I'm not looking to blame someone
You don't pass
else.
the buck.
Right.
That's something we said on the Truman.
Right. And something that stays with me today in terms of, and I'm still trying to find the answer to it. And it always constantly evolves. But there was a student at Lansdowne High School, and I was speaking to them, and it was asking me all kind of questions. And this young lady, I'll never forget it, she asked me, she said, how did you keep from becoming bitter after all the stuff that you've been through? And to this day, I was just kind of like, you know, like,
It's a great question,
you
right?
know, and I'm like, well, I never wanted to blame somebody for my position. I just always felt like I'm going to better my situation. But even that answer sufficed for the moment. I'm still going like, wow, like, that's that our kids are asking, like, because they're upset, or maybe they feel like somebody wronged them, and they go, well, how did you keep not from coming bitter? And I'm just like, I don't know. I never had the luxury of sitting back waiting for somebody to go,
Nobody's coming to save you,
got you.
man.
I
Yeah.
think that's probably what it was, right?
you know what I mean? Yeah.
And yeah, I guarantee you. I tell Mike this all the time. I grew up regular poor, right?
He does. He says it all the
I
time,
say,
man.
bro, I don't have no like lifetime type story. I was poor. Everybody else was poor too.
Yeah.
Right? So I have like this, you know, where like Mike's story is like, you know, foster care.
Yeah.
You know, father arrested several times, mom on the wrong path, just like the dad as well.
Yeah.
Grew up in the foster system. Stepmom took care of him. Fought. He's been fighting shit his whole life.
Yeah.
Even in the military, right? I always tell him the reason why he's successful now is because nothing he will experience as an adult will overcome the major hurdles he had to overcome as a child. So like all of these things that we face in business, that we face at the company, like in the grand scheme of life, it's never going to be like as big of a deal as a 10-year-old kid whose both parents are not around and he's being raised in poverty by a stranger. Like there is no business situation that's going to trump that scenario.
First world problem.
Yeah,
And
and talk about first
And
world problems.
But you
I
know,
hate my Mercedes.
It can make it
You know what I
hard.
mean? Like,
it
what
can
are
make
you
it
talking
hard to
about?
connect with people, you know?
Yeah.
Which is why I spent, man, I don't even know, the last year and a half now, doing all this training and the public speaking and the writing and everything. And what you do in that is a lot of concept creation and self-discovery. And the word that I found, because I just recently, after like 18 months of going down this rabbit hole, a guy that came in, his name's Rory Vaden. He's helped like 30 plus people do Wall Street Journal, New York Times bestsellers. I'm talking Eric Thomas, Ed Milet, huge names that, and he said, you have to be able to boil your personal brand down to one word. So I took my top 10 traits and I'm racking my brain all night. I can't think of it. And I finally broke down and used some technology because I'm stubborn. I took those 10 words, threw them in ChatGPT, and it spit out tenacity. And I was like, does this word really mean what I think it means? So you go down the rabbit hole, thesaurus, multiple meanings, adjective, noun, verb, does it have multiple ones? And the whole, everything underneath it was like perseverance, resilience, like supreme achievement through adversity, like not like regular shit.
Yeah.
And that word defines people like you and I. That's why we're successful.
Yeah.
And that tenacity and that always looking for a way through keeps us positive, and that keeps us moving forward. And are you a faith-based individual?
Absolutely.
So I'm not the biggest religious person, but they know my wife. She is. Her whole family is, and her brother tells me all the time, you might not know it, but you are a physical, walking, talking like act of God. Like everything you do, you walk in faith. Because my belief in everything that I do is just so strong.
That's right.
This podcast didn't exist. Now we're sitting here with a senator who used to play in the NFL. Yeah. I'm just a poor orphan boy from Dayton, Ohio, man.
Yeah.
Like, that's different. It's different. It hits different, you know?
I'm glad you brought that up. Like, but faith is huge. Huge. I mean, listen, I can distinctly, because when you grow up like how you grow up and you have to work for every single thing that you have, you get to a position of thinking like, I did this by myself. Like, I did all this. Nobody else did this.
And that's a limiting belief, isn't it?
Right. And then God, like, show you, no, I did this. Like, I couldn't afford prom. I found $250 in the mall. I didn't know how in the world I'm going to get back and forth to see my son and his mother. God provided Chevrolet Caprice for me. I didn't know how I was going to go to college. I got a full football scholarship, right? Like, I didn't know how I was going to take care of my family, take care of me. And even then, after my car accident, God provided more opportunity for me to be in this position. So for me, it was the realization is everything that I think like I'm doing.
We have no control over it.
No, it's like, no, it's my faith in Christ. And it's the simple fact of like, humble yourself. That's why like I can go into meetings with anybody, especially like Republicans, and I don't have to feel like I'm the smartest man in the room or even feel like I have to.
You just be you, man.
Right.
Authenticity.
Like, let's just find out where can we find like the common ground.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and I'm not going to demean you. I'm not going to personal attack you because I know like who I am, but I also know that like I'm nothing without like God. Like every opportunity that I had in my life, even go all the way back to like Young's Park where I was living in Norfolk, and you know the things that I've seen, you know, like I've seen gun violence at like 8 years old, seen a man like get shot in the chest.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I've been very close to 2 mass shootings, Virginia Tech and in the city of Virginia Beach. Like I've seen it all the way around, and yet still like I still have this positive outlook for us, for human beings. Like
you didn't lose faith in humanity.
Right. So
when you help a lot of people, which you do, and so do we, sometimes that's hard. So I'll tie back to my last question. What's the biggest difference in leadership for you from like being a leader in a locker room versus being a leader in your community?
Well, much like the military, a locker room, you better take orders. You're going to do what I say, you know?
100%.
And trust.
It's different.
And trust, like you have to trust in me, or, you know, I'm going to go out there, I'm going to make the play myself.
But you base that on performance, right?
Right. Community leadership is different because you have to earn that trust. I mean, you have to earn trust on the football field too, but in the community, like, you really have to earn trust, and for me, it comes with being consistently like available and being consistent in your actions and consistent like in your values, and even in like politics in terms of being leadership, like there's tough like decisions like you have to make like all the time, like very tough decisions, and I have to remind folks, you know, like I truly am here like for your benefit, but it's because like. Now, because of people who have sat in positions of authority for forever, since the beginning of time, have abused authority, so people are like, no, I don't believe you're saying. But through being consistently, available and having the consistent actions, I've earned your trust, I earned your support, and now having the record to show you, you know, like, no, this is actually what I've done. You know, I've been consistent in that.
Right.
So, but it's that, man, is earning people's trust and not expecting it to be given, right? Yeah. You have to work for it, like, and you have to humble yourself. Like, again, I go to like folks, like I visit churches all the time. I get invited to go to churches.
Yeah.
and pastors be like, "Oh, we got you here in the front row," and it's like, I want to sit in the back. Let me sit in the back, because it's like you read the Bible, it tells you like, oh, they want to come and be at the front, the best seats in the house, and be at the front tables, and it's like, I just want to be part of the people. I want to be here with the message. Like, I don't ever want to be like, or ever want anyone to feel like I sit above you. No, I'm like one of y'all. Like, I have my own experience as well, but I'm here like to work with you. Like, I don't want anyone to ever feel like, oh, he's like up here. Like, nah. Like,
There's a
still
similar
me.
there's a similar scenario. Like when you go out to places, they're gonna try to do that to you no matter where you're at.
Yeah.
Because of a seat that you sit in, because of a status that you worked for.
Yeah.
Like I go to see Qbert, DJ Qbert. You know who Qbert is, LA legend. He's at Seaside. I'm there like, hey, you want to sit over here? I'm like, I just want to be here, bro.
Yeah.
Like I don't want to do anything else when I'm going to these shows. I'm gonna go to a concert. I want to sit where I want to sit. I don't want to have that special treatment.
Yeah.
If I want to, cool, but I appreciate it.
Yeah.
But that is a servant attitude, though.
Yeah.
And most people don't have that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Once they get to something, I always like to say this, when somebody starts getting money, it's going to show their true colors.
Yeah.
In theory, that's really what happens.
Yeah.
Somebody starts getting status, the same thing.
It's just,
so are you going to keep it or are you not? And you see that a lot in a different world that we don't see all the time.
Yeah.
We have a different perception on what we see from social media, in the news, whatever the case may be. You see it from the inside. But to be able to say that and actually follow through is huge. I can say that because I've seen you forever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I know the steps, but I think everyone else does now because you're doing it.
Yeah, I mean, it's a level of respect when people, they visit an establishment and they go, oh, we got this here. It's a level of respect, and by all means, like I feel so appreciated by it, but it's never expected. You know what I mean? It's like you shouldn't expect. Don't expect that. But back to New York, real quick. I love New York because when I went to New York and I first go to New York, I've been there a million times, but the meatpacking district have all the nice restaurants and everything, right? And so I called one time, I was trying to impress Jennifer, I was like, oh, get us reservations, we were dating. And, I got us reservations and I said, oh, I'm a New York Giants player, and they got me nice seats. I was impressing Jennifer, and every time I serve her and the manager, I was like, thank you so much, please, and thank you. And he was looking like, where are you from? Where are you from? I was like, I'm from Virginia. He was like, because it's New York, they deal with celebrities all the time. It's like, and not to say I'm a celebrity, but they just deal with people and those standards. He goes, they never say thank you. People never say, please and, thank you in types of being gratified. I was like, I was raised better than that. You know what I mean? I can't, thank you for what you do. And even now, you all would be amazed that in city council as well as state senate, you are essentially executive positions. Staff folks are incredibly smart. Like, this is their careers. You need to respect that. But there are some folks who, because they were elected, think they are that person. And it's like, I dare you, it burns me up when I call people out. Don't treat staff that way.
Right.
You know what I mean? Treat people with respect. Just because you are elected don't mean you get to demand stuff from folks.
Facts.
You know what I mean? So that it irks me. And so the whole entire staff, whether I'm in the Senate or city council, I'm just like, no, I asked for something, please get it when you can. I don't demand anything. But it's a level of respect that I think elected leaders need to know and understand. But everybody's not like that. And y'all would be amazed at folks who send emails. The emails are crazy. You'd be like, what? Why did you get the? Anyways, I was going off on a tangent.
Tell us how you really feel. No,
Can I ask one more question?
Go for it.
You just fit the mold of the whole concept of this show, right? Living your peak life. You come from very humble beginnings. You made it to the NFL. You obviously have impacted the community for a length of time and in such a fashion that you're now a senator after lieutenant governor. I mean, what's 5 years from now look like for you? What is that? I don't know that political landscape track record. What's the what do you call a career path? What's next?
That's funny, man. Because Julian and I was talking about this earlier. I don't look at it as career path, and I was talking about the Rubik's Cube. Politics, things are always changing, right? For me, and it goes back to my football mentality, is do well while you're in the position that you have. All right. And when the opportunity comes available, like running for lieutenant governor, there's an opportunity that came available. And I see it, I was like, I'm going to seize that moment, right? I want to seize the moment to be our next lieutenant governor, because then I get to inspire the whole entire Commonwealth of folks who never thought they could be in this position to get involved, to civically engage, right? And that's like, that is why, I'm running to move our Commonwealth forward. But for me, it goes back like week 1, right? Everybody are preseason Super Bowl champions, right? Everybody preseason playoff champions, right? And then what happened? You start looking down the schedule. Week 1, hey, we're going to play. Who we play in week 3? Ain't no week 3. You got to win week 1 first. Then you have to win week 2. Then you have to win week 3, and so on and so on, to now you're in a position where you are playing in the Super Bowl. And that's the thing about, athletes in general.
It's like that one game at a time mentality.
You have to. You have to, because while I'm trying to, if I was looking ahead, I'm missing out on my responsibility right now. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? What am I supposed to be doing right now that puts me in the position
to be ready for that next opportunity, right?
So that's where we are now. And now I've done. It's going into my 3rd session in our General Assembly. I was voted the 4th most effective senator in the General Assembly as well. I have the respect of my community, the respect of my colleagues on both sides of the aisle, respects of the people. I carry some tough legislation showing I can legislate. Going to my 3rd session now, and now running for lieutenant governor. Preside over the Senate to be more influential throughout our Commonwealth. And if the Lord sees it that there's a pathway to be governor, then hopefully I've been in the position to be ready for it.
Nice.
You will.
I love it.
You.
Senator Rouse, we appreciate you coming in today, bro. Seriously. Thank you very much.
Thank y'all for having me, man.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. Cool. I'll hang out with y'all anytime.
Thank you.
Yeah.
We got part 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 coming out soon. All right, just so you know.
Yeah.